next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Tonight, the clock is ticking in the Persian Gulf, and President Donald Trump is making one thing crystal clear. America will not be dragged into another pathetic, one-sided Iran deal. The White House says any agreement under Trump will guarantee peace through strength, not Obama-Biden-style surrender. But here's the danger. While Trump pushes for a deal solution, a real solution, Iran is openly talking about new battlefield cards. Leaked footage is surfacing from the IRGC, and U.S. forces have already intercepted a cargo ship reportedly packed with missile-related chemicals. So the question tonight is simple. Is Tehran testing Trump or walking straight into an America First trap? So why does it matter, though? You see, it matters to every American watching because Iran is not some distant problem that stays overseas. If the regime can threaten the Strait of Hormuz, move missile chemicals by sea, and posture with the IRGC while talks are underway, that hits energy prices, shipping lanes, military readiness, and the safety of our troops and allies. Families here at home, they feel that at the pump, in retirement accounts, and in the cost of daily life. Politically, it's also a direct test of whether America's finally serious again. President Trump posted that the deal he's making with Iran will be far better than the disgraceful JCPOA pushed by Barack Obama and later defended when Joe Biden was president. Trump says he's under no pressure, and that he will not be rushed into a bad deal just to satisfy the fake news cycle. You see, that's what leadership looks like. Patience, leverage, and peace through unmistakable strength, while weak Democrats try to sabotage America's position for political gain. And speaking of strength, resilience, and getting your life back when the pressure is relentless, I want to share something personal with you. I'm going to share something now. You see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis, endless doctor's visits, treatments that didn't help. Watching her struggle daily, it broke my heart. And then Jonathan Otto introduced red light therapy. Her pain vanished, anxiety lifted, she's sleeping soundly, full of energy and life again. My recovery and vitality better than guys half my age. Truly life-changing for us. That's why I keep telling people about red light therapy. No joke. I have one of these devices in my house, thanks to Jonathan Otto. It's backed by NASA research, FDA cleared, and studies show rapid pain relief and real recovery support. In a world full of stress, this gave our families something priceless, relief that actually works. So if you've been dealing with pain, low energy, or poor sleep, this is worth a serious look today. And look no further than myredlight.com and use the promo codes in the description. Now back to the showdown with Iran, because what U.S. forces just found at sea, it changes the entire picture. I'm going to tell you, this is the twist the media doesn't want front and center. No longer just rhetoric. CENTCOM released footage showing U.S. forces intercepting an Iranian-flagged cargo vessel near the Strait of Hormuz after it ignored warnings with the USS Spruance, firing warning shots before Marines boarded and took control. Another report says that ship was loaded with ammonium perchlorate, sodium perchlorate, sodium chloride, oxidizers, and propellant chemicals, exactly the kind of dual-use material that can feed ballistic missile production. That's not diplomacy. That's preparation. And then look at this on your screen here. Iran's lead negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghabaf, tells Trump that ahead of negotiations, Tehran has spent the past 2 weeks preparing new cards on the battlefield. Footage has now leaked out that reportedly shows training for one of the IRGC's capabilities that has yet to be used. Yeah. Get them, guys. I believe they call this terrorist yoga. But I kid, right? Now, here's what the U.S. Navy says it actually caught at sea. Taken control by U.S. Marines, loaded with ammonium perchlorate, chemicals, dual-use materials can used in production of ballistic missiles. See, this is the footage now of the boarding, warning shots being fired. through the hull, right into the engine room of that freighter, right through the engine room, neutralizing it. The seizure hits Tehran where it hurts capability. Next, the White House makes Trump's position plain: no Obama-style surrender deal, no blank checks for the mullahs. This is what the White House has just posted today. Make no mistake, President Trump won't drag the U.S. into another disastrous deal with Iran. If a deal happens under Trump, it will guarantee peace, security, and safety not only for Israel and the Middle East, but for Europe, America, and everywhere else. This is what President Trump and the White House has just posted. Trump says any deal with his name on it delivers peace to strength, not another swamp giveaway. But Laura Ingram's next guest asks the obvious question: what if the IRGC is really the one calling the shots? What's the point of the talks if the IRGC is calling the shots? Chuck DeVore warns diplomacy may just be the prelude. Now listen carefully. You're likely to see an enormous amount of ordnance being dropped on Iran within just a few hours.
What happens with the administration's efforts at this point? I mean, so you have J.D. Vance, looks like he's leaving at any moment to go to Pakistan for more talks. But if he's going to agree to something with the foreign minister that's going to be undermined by the IRGC, I mean, I'm sure he loves all that travel, but again, what's the point?
Well, Laura, I think the point is very much about international relations and diplomacy. We have to show the world and we have to show the American public that we are trying, that Donald Trump is trying very hard to have a true and lasting peace with an Iran that is not a threat to American national interests and is not a threat to the region or even to Europe. So it's very important to try. Now, the question is what happens when the talks obviously fail. At least I think they'll fail. Laura, you know, the last 2 weeks, you've seen enormous amounts of armament moved into the region. You've seen more aircraft. Very important maintenance has occurred on both the aircraft and the ships, as well as the personnel. So what you're likely to see is an enormous amount of ordnance being dropped on Iran within just a few hours, record amounts of ordnance. And I think it'll be targeted not at bridges and not at power plants, but at the IRGC leadership. They have to be shown that they can't win, and we have to break their will.
We have to break their will. If the talks are just cover while the IRGC flexes, the risk goes way up fast. Now, listen to this. This is what the Iranian embassy posted. Okay, an open radio threat.
Persian Gulf and Oman Sea. This is Iranian-Sepa Navy calling you on channel 16. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We will open it by the order of our leader Imam Khamenei, not by the tweets of some idiots. If you want to pass through the strait, you must ask permission from Iranian-Sepa Navy. All vessels that have a connection with our enemies will be targeted if they try to pass the Strait of Hormuz out.
It'll be open not by the tweets of some idiot. Yeah. I would caution against that kind of radio traffic, personally. So Tehran talking tough on the water. Its own message machine is a mess. Meanwhile, Fetterman's admitting Democrats in the corporate press are so desperate to stop Trump, they're making Iran look like the victim. Fetterman admitting what he called the quiet part out loud. Democrats are cheering against the U.S. in Iran because it would hand Trump a political win. Then he calls out the media, especially the New York Times, for turning Iran into the underdog. Listen to Fetterman on Fox Business.
It's the cliche, but it's like you say the quiet part aloud. I mean, this idea, like, well, it's a big win for Trump or Netanyahu. I'm not sure about, you know, that's crazy. It's like it's effectively, it confirms what I've always, like the New York Times and some of the media are effectively have turned Iran into the underdog that we could maybe. But it's like if your hate of Trump is more than, you know, holding Iran accountable, forget Iran executed tens of thousands of its young people just, you know, a month last
in a couple of weeks.
Fetterman, man. Always surprising me. Trump derangement syndrome, he says, warping the coverage. Now watch hard evidence from CENTCOM. This is the raw footage they released, showing U.S. forces intercepting the vessel. And it shows the USS Spruance firing the warning shots from his 5-inch gun at the engine room of the ship, identified as a Tuska.
Motor Vessel Toska, Motor Vessel Toska, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Right through the engine room. You heard the radio traffic. Vacate the engine room. I mean, they're being nice. That wasn't warning on paper. That was the U.S. firepower and Marines taking control. Next, I had translated this footage I saw circulating on X. I'm like, okay, we got to play this because you're not going to understand their language. But this is an Iranian IRGC officer claiming stealth is dead, boasting the air defenses tracked and struck an F-35 Lightning II and pulled it down. Listen.
Warmest greetings to the courageous and proud people of Iran, and also to my dear leader, because we have been granted this truly magnificent honor to serve our great nation and our esteemed leader. The long-standing myth of so-called stealth technology is now completely shattered and utterly finished for Lockheed Martin and all those other manufacturers who produce aircraft that they boastfully claim to be invisible to radar or truly stealthy, as they put it. These were the intense and challenging conditions we faced and successfully navigated throughout the recent 12-day war. We were able to successfully upgrade our very own defense systems, and in doing so, take a significant step forward toward modern air defense.
So could you please tell me more about that night? What exactly happened at around 2 in the morning? Did you ever truly believe you'd be able to shoot down an F-35?
We were absolutely certain, beyond any doubt, that we had spotted it. We had it completely under our constant watch, it was tracked precisely, and we had a truly excellent, optimal position ready to take the shot.
So, at that exact moment, when you launched that missile toward the F-35, what was going through your mind?
We learned to say, you did not throw when you threw. When I say God willing, it definitely means this, because whatever we do, it is actually God who is doing it. Whatever we shoot, it is God who shoots it.
And then, what was it like when you saw it hit?
It was God, that's who struck it.
I bet the operations room erupted with everyone clapping, right?
Well, the sheer joy and excitement of all the guys when they saw that impact, and then when that bird was hit, it was truly, truly indescribable, because we had just brought down a piece of Lockheed Martin technology completely right there to the ground. We pulled it right down.
Yeah, that night when the news came out, the company's stock plummeted heavily. When the video was released, it was really fascinating.
Does that guy think COVID's still going on? Too? He's wearing a mask. After the brag fest, here's the reality check from Trump. He says the deal on the table will be far better than Obama's cash for chaos. The deal we're making with Iran will be far better than the JCPOA, commonly referred to as the Iran nuclear deal, penned by Barack Hussein Obama and Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst deals ever made having to do with security of our country. It was a guaranteed road to a nuclear weapon, which will not and cannot happen with the deal we're working on. They actually gave $1.7 billion in green cash loaded onto a Boeing 757 flown to Iran for Iranian leadership to spend any way they saw fit. He had emptied out all the cash from banks in D.C., Virginia, Maryland. Those bankers said they'd never seen anything like it before. In addition, hundreds of billions of dollars was paid to Iran. If I did not terminate that deal, nuclear weapons would have been used on Israel all over the Middle East, including our cherished U.S. military bases. The fake news, like lightweight Washington Post journalist David Ignatius loves to talk about the JCPOA, knowing that it was dangerous and a complete embarrassment to our country. If a deal happens under Trump, it will guarantee peace, security, and safety, not only for Israel and the Middle East, but for Europe, America, and everyone else. It will be something the entire world will be proud of instead of the years of embarrassment and humiliation that we have been forced to suffer due to incompetent and cowardly leadership. President Donald J. Trump. That was posted earlier today. And then another post earlier. The Democrats are doing everything possible to hurt the very strong position we are in with respect to Iran. Despite World War I lasting 4 years, 3 months, 14 days, World War II lasting 6 years and a day, Korean War lasting 3 years, a month, and 2 days, Vietnam War lasting 19 years, 5 months, 29 days, Iraq lasting 8 years, 8 months, 28 days. They like to say, I promise 6 weeks to defeat Iran. And actually, from the military standpoint, it was far faster than that. But I'm not going to let them rush the United States into making a deal that is not as good as it could have been. I read the fake news saying that I'm under pressure to make a deal. It's not true. I'm under no pressure whatsoever, although it will all happen relatively quickly. Time is not my adversary. The only thing that matters is that we finally, after 47 years, straighten out the mess that other presidents let happen because they didn't have the courage or foresight to do what had to be done with respect to Iran. We are in it, and it will be done right, and we won't let all the weak and pathetic Democrat traitors, all who for years have been talking about the dangers of Iran and that something has to be done, but now since I'm the one doing it, belittle the accomplishments of our military in the Trump administration. This is being perfectly executed on the scale of Venezuela, just bigger, more complex operation. The result will be the same. In my first term, I built the greatest military our country has ever seen, including adding Space Force. In my second term, I'm properly and judiciously using our military to solve problems left to us by others far less understanding or competence. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. So that's it in a nutshell. And this is the moment. See, Trump is trying to secure a deal from a position of total leverage while exposing exactly what Iran is, a regime that talks peace through diplomats while the IRGC stacks the deck for conflict. Laura Ingram's guest warned that if the Guard is calling the shots, diplomacy may simply be the pause before overwhelming military action. Iran is even pushing absurd propaganda that stealth is dead and taunting shipping traffic in Hormuz, trying to project strength. But here's the truth. Every move they make is proving Trump right. You cannot hand this regime cash, pallets of concessions, and wishful thinking. You stop it with power, pressure, interception, and terms written in American steel. So the big takeaway tonight is this. President Trump is doing what weak leaders refuse to do for decades. Deal with Iran from a position of strength, not apology. The White House message was unmistakable. No surrender deal, no fake deadline panic, no repeat of the disastrous push by the former Obama and Biden crowd. Even Senator Fetterman admitted Democrats and media figures are so consumed by hatred of Trump that some are practically rooting against America if stopping Iran gives this president a win. And that says everything. If you believe Trump should keep the pressure on Iran and refuse any bad deal, comment yes below. If you think the regime is bluffing, comment no. And share this report everywhere. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notification. Better yet, text raw feed to 844-840-4963 to beat the algorithm and get direct updates from me to your phone. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video because America's back. Trump's in command, and the world knows the adults are running things again.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.